Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back, woo! We are hopefully ready to go, ladies and gentlemen. The Champion Select will be coming up in just a few moments. It's going to be Meet Your Makers versus the Dragonborns. I'm pretty sure you've seen the graphic on the screen for the last 20 minutes, so I think you're aware of that by now.
They've been looking at it for a short while.
A short while. Coming soon.
Coming
soon for a short while.
So this is going to be the final best of 5 of a very, very long weekend. And it's definitely one that we're looking forward to.
Well, we are, if it gets underway. So, Meet Your Makers. They came up against the Dragonborns before in Warsaw. It didn't go so well for them. The confidence was knocked, but the manager actually said to me they were overconfident going into that game. They're not going to make that mistake again. The Dragonborns, however, they've pretty much set aside the last 2 or 3 weeks to basically say, we're going to focus on this game.
Yeah, they're going to prepare for it and make sure they, get their way through it. Hosen was talking a little bit, in the build-up to this, and he was saying that he actually expects maybe Draven to make it through the picks and ban phase. It's a champion that if you can control in the mid-game, his teamfight presence once you get to the mid and the very late is just not as impactful because you can't catch the spinning axes all the time.
And, of course, you can go over to lolesports.com and vote about who you think will win. Currently, it's 87% advantage for Meet Your Makers. That's a pretty big turnaround.
I think production is getting the numbers a little bit backwards.
Well, they're getting excited, I think, because that says 68 to me.
That is 69% in favor of Meet Your Makers to 31% in favor for the Dragonborn. So a little bit of mix-up.
Maybe production's doing their own little vote.
Yeah, I think so too. This is maybe their own one. But still, clear favorites. 2/3 in favor of MYM to 1/3 in favor of the Dragonborns. That's what it really boils down to. And I guess after the Dragonborns' performances towards the end of the split, this is what people are remembering. Remembering the lack of anything, to be very fair.
But what they should remember is the fact that Dragonborns have beaten the likes of Evil Geniuses before, albeit with a bit of a crazy comp. They had the Nidalee Spears down that bottom lane, and it worked out well for them, but then it backfired horribly against SK Gaming in the same day.
On the same token, that was a slightly different composition as well. That they ended up deciding moving some champions around,
which did not work.
It didn't work. It was a spur
which was down
of
to
the moment,
Spontex, if I recall.
Spur of the moment decision. Spontex like, I want to take Zinzao top, and Maluno was like, but I want him in the jungle. Like, why do you decide that right now? And it ended up costing
I selected him. I'm keeping him.
Pretty much. So what ended up
like solo queue right there.
One of the great things about the Dragonborns team is I'm thinking about their protect the Kog'Maw comp, where they actually sent Hosan on Nidalee in the mid lane. They ran 4 supports. They had Nunu, Janna, Lulu, and another one. And they were protecting Kog'Maw, who was being played by Shushe in the bottom lane. They tried that against Evil Geniuses, but they just fell too far behind too early. And they couldn't make the comp work. They couldn't make it to the late game. So they're willing to try new things to not very good levels of success, but they're willing to try them. And it's just a matter of if they can do that again and surprise MYM, catch them off guard for a second time, they might be able to get, an advantage in the series.
And everyone loves the trier, of course. But Meet Your Makers, on the other hand, actually didn't have that clear a qualification to get here. They did beat Alternate, of course, over in Lille. But to get here, it was a tough match for him in the first best of 3.
Yeah, so Dexter is actually Evil put up a very, very good fight in that best of 3. It went 2-1, and every single one of those matches was incredibly long and drawn out. I think they all went to 40 minutes plus.
There was a 60-plus minute game.
There was a 60-minute game a second, and it was back and forth the entire time. And the third and final game, MYM were actually a little bit behind at the beginning. Not like massive amounts, but they did manage to pull themselves back into it. Interestingly, every single one of their players, with the exception of Libic, played a different champion in every single game. So in this weekend alone, in their 3-game series, they've played 3 individual champions. So maybe that speaks, testament to their champion pool diversity, and they'll definitely need to be drawing from that in this best of 5.
If I cast my mind back, Libic used to have Blitzcrank banned against them, and maybe we're going to see something like that coming out. Nunu almost certainly, that was his standard champion, and he used to use the classic skin, the robot skin as well.
It's the only one you have to.
Constantly
That's pretty
spams
much
the laugh.
what you have to be doing. This weekend, he's played Zyra twice and Lulu once. If he does decide to play a champion like Blitzcrank, it's one of those sort of all-in champions. And if you don't get kills during the laning phase or get that snowball rolling quite hard, it almost has little to no impact. If you're unable to grab somebody and instantly kill them in that mid-game, then what's the point? And again, you can counter. Like, if you see a Blitz, you can go, well, we'll pick a Renekton, we'll pick an Aurelia, we'll pick Shen, somebody who wants to be pulled into the team and save their flash or save their taunts for that engage.
Well, and Thresher's really kind of took over that position as well, because he's a bit more utility to him.
Yeah, he's got the pull that's very similar. The box is more powerful. He's got more damage, more poke. So generally, he's just a little better. And of course, the Lantern, the Dark Passage, all of the saves, the ganks that you can set up. We've seen a lot of Thresh this weekend, but we haven't seen all that many, lantern ganks being set up from these teams. And I wonder if it's just maybe not using him to his fullest ability.
Well, we do see the team sat there. We got the admin with Shushay, not too sure what he's up to. Hosan alongside him, of course. The chest bump victory was what happened last time these guys got through. I wonder if we'll see any of those shenanigans. We don't want to see Hosan getting floored once again.
Well, he was very nervous about that because if there'd been anything sharp on the floor, he would have taken a lot of pain because he got taken right out.
Yeah.
We do see his hair's tied up, and we've discussed this with both of the players. Shushay, firm believer that if his hair is down, he's at full power, and also not quite believing in that just yet.
Meet Your Makers showing some tense expressions here. The match coming up. They've got to focus on this one. It is going to be a serious, big game for them. There's Charu alongside him with all the hair. You can all spot Charu. He's the little one with all the hair.
I've always thought he's got the coolest hair.
You can't actually tell when they're all sat down like that, but like he's about a foot shorter than everybody else. Because there's some big boys right there.
It's a pretty, scary-looking team where they're all standing up because they're pretty big fellas, but they're the nicest guys.
I believe is the phrase.
Really, really nice guys. And, the pressure's on them in this matchup. If we're going to be very honest, I think there are more people that feel like MYM are the favorites in this matchup. I mean, the vote says so. The Reddit's been talking about it. And with that much pressure on the shoulders and the fact that they've already lost to Dragonborns, it's going to be playing on their minds. It's going to be something that'll be, going through their memories and they will be thinking about. You can see the admins pretty much talking to them, trying to get
I believe he's telling them to get in the game.
I believe
because
so
everybody
too.
at home, as well as us, is waiting for these boys to start their match off. So what do we think? What are we thinking between these two teams? Because we've seen MYM. We thought, coming into this game, we thought, yeah, they may well be the favorites, but it was far from convincing against Dexter's Actually Evil. Dragonborns, the fact that they've had that 3-week period to sit, really basically look at everything that MYM do and just dissect and maybe try and come out with something new that may surprise them.
So we'll see how, what is going to work in this particular game. But in terms of champions that we can expect, Zed is definitely going to feature. It was banned against MYM in, back and forth between them for a majority of their games against Mouse Sports. We know that Yamata Cannon likes to run Zed up in that top lane. We've also seen Shen being targeted against him as well as that Twisted Fate. So, similar sort of champion pools that they like. Whether or not Shushay is going to pull something crazy out, like an AP Maokai, we've even heard some whispers of maybe even trying Quinn in that mid lane or things like that. So we'll see what he decides to whip out and pull in this particular series.
But he's always been one of those players that is willing to try things. We'll see if that's what he does. Ari Twisted Fate being the first bans for the Dragonborns, Lux and Zed for Meet Your Makers. So actually focusing on the top champion of Yamata Cannon and, of course, the mid lane of Shushay. We don't want any Oh My Lord moments.
Well, we want Oh My Lord moments, but they definitely don't.
No. Thresh is going to get banned out, as well as Zach. That means there's a number of top champions. Shen coming to mind. Jarvan's going to be in there as well. Let's see what they go for.
So there's a lot of decisions on the line here. Maluno's Amumu probably is one of his most impressive champions, along with that Jarvan, of course, but he's had more impressive saves with that Amumu. He will rely on Yamata Cannon and Shushay to deal damage, though. Draven has been allowed to slip through, and it's something that we've seen very few teams actually do during the course of the spring splits.
Well, they've gone for a lease. Let's see what Meet Your Makers. I feel they may take Shen. I'm pretty sure it's something Kubon plays on that top lane. Makatra, of course, he could also run it in that jungle. Will he go for the Jarvan? No.
And it was banned against him as well. Game 2 of the matchup. And, of course, we did see Kubon playing it in the third deciding game against Mouse Sports. So we'll see exactly how that pans out. No, I'm lying to you. It was given to Makata in the jungle. So 5.3 KDA, did pretty well with him there. And you can just see they're talking about it. Like, what do we want to pick? Kha'Zix is still available as well. We did see Mokata running Nautilus as well as Maokai in the jungle. So he's got the utility junglers, he's got the gank-heavy junglers in the form of Maokai, and then in Nautilus, and of course Shen.
Taking their time on this one, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And the typing comes out, so Sona is going to get locked in, so they want that for the support Libic, and there is the Shen. We'll see whether Makata does keep that one for the jungle or whether he gets switches across the Kubon. I expect the fact that he selected himself he's probably going to keep it.
So this will be the first time that we're going to see Libic on Sona this weekend. Taking that away also denies that for Muvert, who's one of his most played champions in the spring split. We do tend to see Muvert almost falling back to Tarek as his secondary support. So I'd like to see if this is going to be Yamato Cannon in the top lane with Elise, or if it's going to go to Muvert as a support.
They were fast lock-ins. We do see Jarvan and Diana being selected straight away. Maluna's going to be happy. The fact that he has got it through looks like it is going to be Hosan. Insta-lock on Draven.
Yep.
Kha'Zix and Misfortune also being picked there. So quick fire picks there. So Dragonborns, they very much know what they want.
Yeah, they're 100% convinced that this is a very, very good early game team. If this is going to be a support Elise, that's going to be a very scary bottom lane. The percentage HP damage with that massive, massive damage buff that those spinning axes give you during that laning phase is going to be difficult. And it is going to be. So it's probably going to be a top lane Diana.
Yep.
The thing is, I don't really know if Shushe might keep Diana, and it might be Yamato on Karthus, and they might lane swap. Because I don't really know if Shushe is the kind of player that likes that sit back and relax kind of play that Karthus has. You know, it's not quite all in like a Diana is.
Well, it looks like Sharu is actually going to take Xerath in the mid lane, which means it will be Kha'Zix on Kubon. Of course, they could switch him around. It could be Kha'Zix in the jungle. Makata could be taking that one. We'll see which way it all turns around. Of course, they've got 60 seconds now. Everything's locked in. What are we thinking here? And where are we expecting these champions to go? Because they could switch all of these lanes.
So I'm expecting Kubon in the top lane and Makate with Shen in the jungle, because this is what they played yesterday against Mousesports, or whenever they did play. So that's probably the way I'm going to expect that. If it's going to be Xerath versus Karthus in this mid lane, it's going to be a very difficult lane for Shushe, because if he does get stunned by that Mage Chains and the Arcana Pulse, that's a lot of burst at the early level. And Charu's going to be completely out of range of Defile. He's going to be able to just sit way, way back in that setup. But it does look like Karthus will be sitting in Shushe's hands.
Well, one thing's for sure, these are two very aggressive setups. We are almost certainly going to see kills. We always do when Dragonborns are involved, and this could be a pretty chaotic game right here.
Yeah, there's no better word for it. It's going to be all in from both of these teams, especially if you look at the Dragonborns lineup. That is 5 damage threats from 5 champions that have the ability to carry a game. You know, if any one of them gets very fed very early, they will just run away with that matchup. I don't think we've seen any last-minute swaps there from the champions. So we'll see how this one pans out right now. And we're about to go live with the very last best of 5, D-Man.
It's been emotional.
It has been.
It's been a long one.
Emotional.
And the last best of 5 getting underway. So who will be the 8th team in the LCS? We've already seen Copenhagen Wolves retain their position. Alternate, they squeaked through against the Giants, and Sinners Never Sleep. They had a dominating 3-0 win to go flying in towards the LCS. Will the Dragonborns be able to stay in there, or will Meet Your Makers manage to knock them out and have the 3rd team to replace in the LCS? Of course, the Summer Promotion Series, that's what they're fighting for. They all want to make it to that grand finals coming up later in the year.
And of course, from Warsaw, this was the final match, the deciding game to determine that 8th and final team spot. You could not ask for a more poetic ending to our extended weekend. And we are into the game. Shushe is on Karthus, and I'm very interested to see how well he plays. And look at all of that damage from the Dragonborns. It's going to be up to Makate to make sure he lands those Stand Uniteds and save whoever it is and gets dove on.
I just feel that Charu's going to have the poke over Shushe here. He's going to be able to... And Charu, you know, the fact he's on Karthus, Karthus is a fairly slow-moving object and a very weak one.
So one of the things that does play into Shushe's favor, and when he is coming up against Xerath in that lane, is Xerath's going to need to plant himself down with that Locus of Power, which means it's going to be an easy target for Lay Waste.
Yes.
And unless he's planted in the ground, he's actually not going to outrange the Lay Waste. So it's one of these things where it's going to come down to purely positioning and individual player ability to see who can get that extended poke.
Well, we'll see who does. Charu is a very accomplished mid laner, as is Shushe. Shushe, of course, the Season 1 world champion with Fanatics. This time around, he's fighting to keep his position here on the Dragonborns.
And it sounds like they're fighting with pings. There's about 1 million of them that have come out in this early game, and almost all of them from the side of MYM. Every single time they see champions, it's just ping, 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 ping. And you can see it there on your minimap. MYM are really making sure that everybody is well aware that something's happening, and now I think they're trolling us.
They're not, no, I just think they're just scared because they know that ping ward was placed there, and they feel that they're actually Kuban's like, I'm going to be invaded. I'm going to be invaded. Someone check here, someone check here. And then Charu's like, I ain't face checking this thing. No way.
Do not want.
But Shushay, look at that. He's going straight for the raids. He has vision in this one. Gets a poke on towards Shushay. Doesn't manage to get the steal of it. Didn't have, actually, it was a blind check, wasn't it there? Did manage to get a shot across. Meet Your Makers, though, on a late invade. And now they're going to find out Hosan and Move here on the blue buff. They've got, of course, 3 members, so the number advantage. We're not going to see Shushay coming across. Are they going to try and steal it away? They have put on the Pink Ward war already began.
Yeah, so Libic put the first Pink Ward down, took out the Green Ward, immediately replied by Movert. He put a Pink Ward down, took out MYM Pink Ward. And of course, they're just going to return to lane. So we do see the lane swap, but for both teams. So Dragonborns, they are wanting to have their duo lane facing off against the duo lane of Meet Your Makers. And you've seen there, Cubon taking that blue buff. So he's most likely going to be recalling, getting some potions, and heading back to that bottom lane to face off against Diana.
Yeah, the top lane are taking that blue buff. We'll see how that works out for him. Hosan, of course, on that Draven. We know that he's going to be aggressive. The fact that he's got Elise alongside him almost certainly means when one of those cocoon lands, he will definitely be following it up. There's nothing, he doesn't need much of an invite. You can already see he wants to get some hits on towards Makler. Makler knows those axe range just about right.
So there's something that Hosan, fell victim to for the first couple of weeks of LCS, is that everybody knew he was going to be aggressive. You knew he's going to dive you. You know he's going to be in your face. So you can prepare for that and you can work around it. He did, however, develop some self-restraint during weeks 8, 9, and 10, and probably grew as a player because of how badly he was being countered. Right now, Maluna has snuck himself into this top bush with a very, very nice slide. I don't know if he was spotted or not, but it does look like it because Makler and Libic are back.
Yeah, they pinged it straight away, so he must have just been given vision, but it doesn't matter. Makler is going to get caught out. Ironically, Hosan wasn't there. He is going to flash for this one. He's going to get the axe down. One more axe will be it. It's for Maluna, that picks up the first blood. It's Makler that goes down.
So well played there. Maluna picking up that first blood. He literally just brute forced his way into that lane. It didn't matter that both Makler and Libic knew that he was there. The cocoon landed, and that is what counts. So well played by Movert. It's a support player that we called out a little bit for maybe not backing up Hosan quite as much as maybe he needed to during the season.
Yeah, but that did show, of course, that Dragonborn's not afraid to burn those flashes to make sure they get those kills there. So 3 flashes burnt just to make sure they got on there. Kuban with that blue buff. How's he doing in this bottom lane against Diana of Yamato Cannon? He's 19-16 up in CS. Yamato Cannon just lingering around. Let's have a look towards the mid lane. Charu has just backed off. He's going to go back and buy a tell a lie. He's going to cancel it. He's put a chunk of mana pots as well, so he wants to stick around for a while here against Shushay. He's going to keep that Arcano Pulse just poking.
You're just spamming it out, using the range to his favor. Now, both champions have the ability to wave clear very, very effectively and quite quickly. So it may end up just being somewhat of a stale lane until there is the possibility of ganks. If Charu wants to make use of a Stand United gank, and he needs to, is going to be relying on that taunt, he's going to have to actually go against the Zareth principle and getting close range so that that Shen delivery system will be a little bit easier for Charu. And look at Maluna, again, very sneakily, dives over that wall. So his positioning is very good. He's going to come up behind Kuban.
Yeah, they knew he got that ward in the tri-bush, and here he comes around towards Kuban. He's just going to... he's going to go aggressive, which means he's going to be in trouble. He has going to have that jump, but it's only going to be a lily one. And as you can see, there's the jump, there's the flash. Is it going to be enough? The knock-up comes in. That's surely going to be Kuban going down here. Dragonborn starting out very aggressive. We didn't expect anything else.
No, and what great play. That's his 2 ganks, 2 kills being landed for Maluna. And we said how his Amumu and his Jarvan are some of his best junglers, and he is making them work for him. He's got an average KDA of 4.8 on Jarvan, so he's working himself towards that 5 either kills or assists before going down.
Do the warning pings there. They thought that Charu may be heading north, but no, it's just simply warding it. Look at the flashes once again. It's going to be the cocoon. It's going to be Libic going down. Now can they turn up towards Makler? You can see the rappel come out. Barrier bait comes in there, and Makler does get the kill. I think Mubel will finish it up. Yes, he does. And that was a 2-for-1 in the top lane.
That was such a great play, and that's something that you don't tend to see in terms of these, 2v2 situations. Hosan and Mubel just all in, and they landed every single ability that they needed to. That stand aside, just catching Libic before the flash went off, and that was enough to slow him down and get that cocoon to land. So well played, 2-for-1, a kill for Hosan and a kill for Mubel Elise.
Well, the sheer aggression was what caught Meteor Makers out over in Warsaw, and is it happening once again? They are already finding themselves falling behind in this game. It is 4-1 in kills, and that equates to a 1,500 gold advantage just 6.5 minutes into this game. Yamada with that red popped on. He's going to go aggressive once again on towards Kubon. He may be able to take him down. You can see he pulls that ultimate to get back on towards him. He has to back away from this one. He can't even fight it.
Such great play from Yamada Cannon. He waited for the leap to go before he used that Lunar Rush. So he dove, onto him without using his flash. He is level 6 to Kha'Zix is level 5, so he still hasn't even evolved those Void Spikes just yet. He just hit level 6 with that last wave under the tower. He's only got a 5 CS lead, even with picking up that kill. So Yamada Cannon really needs to make those CS numbers pay dividends.
Well, we do see Hosan keeping the burn down. And he is going to get on towards Libic.
So we'll see how this pans out right now. Pretty good game between Dragonborns and MYM. Dragonborns have pulled themselves ahead in this very, very early matchup. And the question is, can they hold on to the lead? That is the real question. Can they make sure that they actually don't throw this away? The Cocoon is about to come out. Look at the damage on Libic.
Libic's going to get caught out, and here comes the ultimate from Shushay. Will it be enough? He gets one. That's going to be Hosan going down to the minions towards the end there. Do not believe it. They just hang on, but it's another 2-for-1 exchange.
And the kill lands in Shushay's lap. Karthus just using that Requiem to great effect. They're extending that gold lead. Dragonborns have come out swinging, and my word, they are landing uppercut after uppercut.
Oh, well, they do see Shushay. He's going to keep on. He's going to get targeted. Can Sharu get on towards him? No, he can't. He uses that ultimate and just flashes away, but the flash was burned there. That does, of course, mean he got a kill and an assist, though, from those double kills in the top lane. The gold lead is starting to stretch. Now there's going to be Sharu getting dived on towards. Cataclysm already going on towards there. Flash from Sharu already used. He might be able to take him out here. Yes, he does. And Maluno drops the mid laner.
Maluno sidestepped the Arcana Pulse. He got hit with the Mage Chains, the E from Xerath, and the stun was about to come in, and he just casually saunters off to the side and says, nope, do not want, picks up a kill, refreshes the blue buff because Charu had just picked that up himself, and now all of a sudden Cubon's in trouble.
Now Yamada Cannon going in towards him. He uses that stealth to try and dodge around. He does manage to get away from it. Crescent Strike coming out from Yamada Cannon, but every single lane right now for Dragonborns is beating out MYM.
Now this is something that the Dragonborns did very early in the season, and it's what helped them pick up those wins all those weeks ago. They just went fight, fight, fight. Now Cubon's being dived by 2.
Fight coming in. It's Maluno that picks up another. It's 8-2 now. 9 minutes into this game. We're getting over a kill a minute. We knew it was going to be chaotic, and well, Dragonborns are keeping it just how they like it.
Well, we'll see if they can keep it up. That's the real question. Because with this tempo, if you make one misstep, if you throw yourself at the enemy a little too often, you can, of course, be caught out. You can give away kills. That's something that they're definitely not looking forward to. The damage coming down onto Libic is a little bit negated. He's got that Ruby Crystal up there, so even with the spinning axe from Hosan, it's not quite hitting as high as he might like to, but he's got that critical hit cloak in his back pocket, looking for that passive of his to deal more damage.
Tricky name to say as well. Hosan is keeping those axes spinning. He's 2-2-3 right now, and he's going in again. Look at that. He's actually trying to zone them completely out from the CS, and it seems to be working out. Cocoon comes out there. He is still equal on farm, though. But we do also see the fact that Mover has got 23 farm already. Of course, he's picked up a couple of those kills. He's actually 1-0 for Mover right now. Complete contrast to what we've seen throughout the season of the LCS. It's working well, this Elite, for him.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's just because he's moved over to a champion that can now actually maybe keep up the tempo with Hosan. We've seen so much of him playing Taric during the course of the season, and it didn't seem to have that much of an impact. 6 out of those 28 games and only 2 victories. So right now, with that Ruby Sightstone almost completed, he'll be looking to just build himself up a little more tanky.
And looking across the picks, the fact that they did have, you got to ban Maluno from Jarvan. It's his favourite champion along with Amumu.
Yeah, it's the truth. And you've seen the impact that it's had. And you've seen the impact that Jarvan has had all weekend long, actually. Probably being the most impactful jungler, most likely next to Nautilus. I think I'll go out on a limb and make that claim. And I think those are the top 2 from this weekend's event. We'll see whether or not Makata decides he wants to ban that or maybe pick it during the next game. He snuck himself into this bottom lane, but very wisely, Yamada Cannon does not overextend. He doesn't put himself in a bad situation.
The Void Spikes coming out there and keeping the poke on. But look at the Mover and Maluna. They are setting up once again for this top lane. They've gone 2-for-1 a number of times. Can they make it a clean sweep this time, though?
Now, there is a pink ward just behind Maluna, so they're 100% sure that there is no vision. And because of the fact that both Mover and Hosen have been so incredibly aggressive the whole time, Makla and Libic are not going to be 100% sure that something's up. They're just going to be like, well, actually, now that nothing's happening, there's a straight-up Cataclysm.
Cataclysm comes in. There's going to be Hosan's ultimate. They just went diving in for that one. No message.
Quite sure, yeah, not quite sure what the thought process was behind that, because Hosan and Mover were just so far away.
I think it was just a case, I can't be bothered to wait any longer. I'm going.
Yeah, I've had enough. Just run faster, damn it. Get in range and at the end of the day, put some damage down, but both flashes burned.
Both flashes burn, yeah.
It's a cool single ultimate cooldown, which will be available fairly soon, and both Makla and Libic are now in trouble if they get caught out by a cocoon or that stand aside.
That may just be what their tactic was. They're just thinking, well, we'll make them burn that flash, make them use it up, and now Mavur is going to go looking for that cocoon. If you can land it, it will, of course, almost certainly be a kill.
So they've extended that gold lead to nearly 4,000 gold right now. Dragonborns are just continuing to run away with it. There's the numbers on your screen, 1,000 in your top laner, 1,000 in the jungle, pretty much 1,000 to 500 pretty much across the board.
Yeah, the farm is actually fairly close. The only difference being the Yamato cannon that stretched the lead there, but it's all about those kills. Those kills have been coming in. It's actually slowed down a little bit now. It was a kill a minute coming in at one point, but it's definitely stretched a little. Here we see Makata making moves. We also have Sharu making moves towards this top area. Is he just simply warding out? It looks like he is. Mover had gone away, and he's going to move back in there. Will he get caught out in the river?
Now, Stand United is available. That is a level 7 Shen. He's 2 levels behind Job, and a very good cocoon from Mover. He's going to carry on running away, and he could have repelled. There was no minions, actually. But looking at the level there of Makata, he's 2 levels behind Maluno. Those 3 kills are just being so effective in Jarvan's, kit and helping him get further and further ahead.
Yeah, you do see the poke continuing. Makla's got to be so careful right now. He's actually got a little CS lead, but it's nothing to write home about. And the fact that he has those deaths on him, he has picked up the kills just as much, but he's definitely been the focus of target. We'll wonder if we start moving into the later game, whether Hosan would simply be able to keep up with Makla, because Makla, is going to farm well, and Misfortune will scale well.
So one of the things that's going to work in their favor, Makla's going to be able to just rely on that bullet time to deal a lot of damage. So that will be able to, at the very least, just put that down on top of the enemy team and shred them. And it's a fairly squishy lineup. Draven, Elise, Karthus will go down relatively quickly. Eventually, Yamato Cannon will build quite tanky. So, Draven's going to be relying on his auto attacks, his right clicks, and his relatively short range, whereas Makla, in theory, could keep himself in the backline a little safer.
MYM Maker's going for the dragon here. We do actually see Shushay backing off, so they're going to take this one for free. This is going to be desperation gold for them. They really need this because they're falling behind Dragonborns quite quickly with all those kills going down. That's going to stretch it and pull it back to 3K. Or are they? Maluno comes in, doesn't get the steal. We do see the crescendo coming across. He's going to get locked up, but he flashes away. But unfortunately for him, it's Makla that gets the kill.
Now, that was actually very, very good play from MYM. They chained their crowd control really, really effectively and really well. They blew a lot of abilities for that kill, but they got the killing spree bonus and an assist across the board for every single member of their team. That gold now is closer. They've drawn the numbers back, and well played by MYM. They'll have timing and vision control for the next time Dragon's up.
Yeah, they're also going to put pressure on the mid lane because Makla and Libic have moved in towards there. They may even be able to get enough. They took a good half the hit points down. As it is the top lane, that was getting shredded, of course, by Hosan. And we saw the fact that Sharu teleported up there to try and fend it off. We do have this bottom lane very, very low. Looks like Yamato Cannon might be the first to take it down.
Well, we'll see whether or not he can push up in the mid lane. It does look like Makla's trying to apply pressure on Shushay. They're just doing a little bit of a lane swap while Charu is covering that top lane. There's the dive.
He's going to go straight in for it. Does use his ultimate, forces Cubon to jump away. Hasn't evolved that jump just yet. That was the basic one. But look at the pressure that Yamato Cannon's been pushing down. First turret down.
So Requiem was available from Shushay, but they decided not to actually use it on that particular one. They weren't 100% convinced that they would be able to pick that kill up onto Cubon. But nevertheless, like you mentioned, turret down, and that's going to allow Yamato Cannon to start roaming.
Well, he could have had Makata use his Stand United and protect him. That would have definitely saved him from that Requiem. So both would have been a very long cooldown. It wouldn't have been too much of an advantage gain. So like you say, they kept on towards that one. Hosan continuing his farm pressure in this top lane. We do see Makla returning back to lane. Has got that Bloodthirster completed now. Infinity Edge is being built by Hosan.
Now he is getting very close to it. He's got those Brawler's Gloves there to increase the critical hit chance. Going to pick himself up that Zeal the moment that Infinity Edge is completed. Neil's already been hitting particularly hard. Now, at the very least, Makla does have that Bloodthirster to sustain any poke or any damage that he does take. So we'll see whether or not that actually plays up. There's the Cocoon.
Here's going to be Libic getting caught out. The ultimate comes out. There's the Stand United. They've managed to bait this one through. Libic's still very low, but they do back off.
So very well played by Movet and Hosan. They completely squashed Sona in that fight. Even got the Stand United out and maybe could have even picked up the kill. But Libic, with a very good reactionary flash, he sidestepped the Whirling Death and he put himself outside of that instant kill. But now Cubon's been caught out. Will the Cataclysm land?
Uses that ultimate to give out speed and stealth and jumps away from it. Has managed to hit that level 11, so has evolved the wings now as well as those void spikes.
And we'll be able to at least have that increased range on his jumps, which will obviously play into his favor. And of course, taking a little bit of pressure.
It's going to get taken. Are they going to get on towards it? No, but the ultimate's wall burned from Sharu to just keep them away, clear out that way. But now Makla going aggressive on Hosan. Hosan taking a lot of damage now. You see that double up going on towards him. He's definitely feeling the burn. Yeah,
Hosan taking a lot of poke here from Sona and Misfortune. Pretty much every single ability plus a power chord landing. And that really went through his life points. Now, remember that he does not have a Vamp Scepter or any form of lifesteal there. So whatever damage sticks, it's definitely going to stay there for a while. So we'll need to see how well Hosan can farm and at what point he decides to back off. Right now, that 3,000 gold lead has crept back up in favor of the Dragonborns.
We do see Shushay is sticking on that mid lane. He's continuing to keep that farm. He's actually ahead of Sharu at the moment, despite the fact Sharu can clear those waves. And of course, Shushay on Karthus can clear them just as quickly.
So at the moment, we're seeing a slightly different build from Charu, Xerath, and from what we've seen from the previous setup. And we've seen two Xeraths this weekend. And it's going to be interesting to see whether or not we see him anymore, because it didn't really work out for the Samurai and Jeans. We'll see whether or not Charu can pull this one back. He's only 0-1-1, but he's farming very, very well.
Well, we see Mercata trying to sneak in that top bush, but he is stood on top of a ward. They don't know whether Maluna is there. Maybe they do, because he's just slid across. In fact, that's a very clever ward that they've got there in that tri-bush to see him sneaking in.
Yeah, especially because they'll know the gank paths or the movement routines from a Jarvan. You can almost anticipate it. Cataclysm is up, and we've seen how the Dragonborn simply run into a lane. They brute force it and dive in there. So we'll see whether or not this does play out. And he has the fight.
The crescendo goes on towards Hosan. Pulling time hits him as well. He might well go down from this one. Yes, he does. There's going to be Maluna, though, jumping on and pancaking down Libic. Now it's Makla's going to be the target. Shushay's ultimate comes out. Requiem does take down one. It is actually Movet that picks up yet another kill. This is really working out well for him.
So 1 for 2, and this should allow them to take the tower. It is relatively low, but with Cubon joining the party, he should clear the wave. That's a double taunt.
It's a brilliant Shadow Dash. Manages to get a turret hit on towards him. Now Movet's going to be the focus. The Cocoon comes out, but it only hits a minion, and now Movet's almost certainly going to be the target. This is a good chunk of gold here. It will be the first death. He has jumped away. The Ignite's not going to be enough, and Movet's escaped.
The medic Maluno saving Movet in that top lane, getting the knockup, preventing the last abilities being casted, and yet again, Maluno showing he should never have been taken off the roster in the middle of the season.
No, absolutely not. He is going to take down this middle turret, Shushay. He's going to come along. Now, that is working out well for him. He's picking up the assists off this ultimate. That is what you do with the Requiem. Blue buff now going to get stolen away as well. Yamato Cannon and Shushay are going to be there as well. This is working out so well for the Dragonborns. 10-4 currently the kills.
So we'll see whether or not MYM can bounce back from this. They do have a team that scales relatively well. Charu will eventually get to a point where he can simply, melt the HP bars of Hosan and Movet. Of course, Shushay, even if you kill him, he's always going to be dealing that damage in team fights, and if he's positioned correctly, that will play into his favor. So right now, it's a 4,000 gold lead. Finally, Hosan has given some free time to attack this top tower, and he does have that Infinity Edge completed.
Yeah, that is going to be the turret going down. Minions will finish the job, and that is now 3-0 for Dragonborns in terms of turrets. Gold advantage stretching 5,000 gold, and they are keeping that pressure on. MYM, they have that Dragon timer down. They did manage to pick it up, and that's really their only saving grace so far. But I don't think they're going to be able to take it. They're going to see the lock on. Oh, wow, that Cocoon was so close to getting Cubon.
That was really, really close. I think if Cubon's wings were any longer, he definitely would have been caught by that Cocoon. Nevertheless, the Dragon has respawned. Vision is all around, and Dragonborns are poised to pick a fight here. Now, Stand United is available for Shen, as is Charu's teleport there on Xerath. So we'll see whether or not they're going to pick this fight. Dragonborns have better positioning, and it doesn't look like members of MYM will be able to react quickly enough.
No, they're not. They're going to come in for it, but the Dragon's already gone down. The Dragonborn's going that team kill, and it's going to be Livic now. He's going to get Stan United on him. He does get caught out. Tried to put the crescendo across, but you can see Makla's going to get focused on by Maluna. And remember, Maluna's picked up a lot of kills. He's going to have a lot of damage here. Livic comes around to try and help him out, but he may be a target of his own. Maluna wants one hit. Yes, he does. He manages to take it. Now Makata's going to get closed on. He's going to get the Shadow Dash across. The Cocoon comes in, and Maluna is still alive and walks away from this one. Yamato Cannon picking up the kill. It was a 2-for-1. Hosan did go down in the end to Sharu, I believe. But what a fantastic bit of play by Maluno to be saved by Yamato Cannon.
He just got the cooldown back on that Golden Aegis, his shield. He managed to block that last little bit of damage that Makate was trying to put down, and they managed to get it. But here's Shusha, he's been caught.
Shusha has been caught out. The exhaust goes on Chicharo. He should be able to get the Arcano pulse. One more shot. No, not enough. And Shusha backs off safe.
He didn't have his ultimate available, the Arcane Barrage, and you just see him there. If Xerath doesn't have his abilities, he can't do it. He tries an Arcano Pulse, and it doesn't manage to find its target.
Tried to guess where he was, thought he'd gone towards that bush, but he wasn't there. The turret being pressured in the mid lane, but that's going to get cleared out. Maluno and Mover are there. Makla pushing this top lane as well, but Hosan once again, the crazy Mad Axeman, is back there spinning away.
The Mad Axeman, that is the best description of Hosan that you can have. He's managed to get that Zeal completed. He's got that Elixir of Fortitude, and he's got himself a small 20 CS lead. With the Dragon, as well as those towers, it's a fairly decent gold advantage. And in terms of straight-up right-click damage, he will obviously be able to out-duel Makla. But in team fights, you know, Hosan and Draven, he can only focus down one particular champion at any given time. And that is something that MYM will be aware of. They have much more splash or AoE damage.
We do see Yamato Cannon continuing that bottom lane. Meanwhile, this top lane, Makla, is fending him off. Makata, he's going for the red buff, but here comes Maluna, here comes Shusha. They want to close him down. Hosan's coming from the side, does manage to get the interrupt just as he was about to taunt away from that one, has to flash off in the end. And the pressure, look how much those axes are starting to do on the AD carries. 468
damage there is how hard it hit Makla for. As soon as Hosan picks up any form of armor penetration, that number is just going to skyrocket even further. You have to give props to Yamato Cannon right now for Diana. He's pulled himself ahead in CS. He's got 2 kills over his opponent. And to be honest, he hasn't made a wrong move this entire game.
I don't think I've ever... Oh, wow. Hosan getting locked up there. Makla's going to go for him. Bullet time comes across. Not going to quite be enough. The Ignite will not finish him off, and they are desperate for kills right now. But here comes the rest of Dragonborns. They know where they are. They're going to push him in that bush. They're going to close them down. There is 4 members up there right now. And they're going back to your point for Yamato. I don't think I've ever seen a Diana out-farm Kha'Zix.
And it all stems from that very early game where Diana just had such a good performance. And obviously that gank helping out, giving him that item advantage, and Yamato pressing home the aggressive advantage. It's definitely something that we're very happy to see in this matchup. Zed was banned out. So Yamato Cannon says, fine, I'll play a different assassin.
One thing's for sure with the Dragonborns, you never get a steady, boring game. They are always all about the aggression, about the kills. They want the fights, and that doesn't always work in their favor, but this time it is.
Yeah, especially when you consider that MYM, they've actually got a fairly aggressive team themselves, with the exception of Shen. That's a pretty all-in kind of team. They want to fight as well, and it's something that maybe they just weren't expecting this level of coordinated aggression from the Dragonborns, because, to be fair, it is very, very good right now.
It is the coordination that's been working well, and Maluno has certainly been the conductor of that orchestra right now. 5-1-3, Runic Bulwark complete. Again, Hosan charging up that river. Ping's going down saying, warning, warning. Crazy pole coming in.
You see him right now. He's going very close to finishing off that Phantom Dance. And we were talking about Maluno, the conductor. He's currently got a 30 CS advantage, 5 kills over his opponent. Now, Shusha, can he get the Wall of Pain? He's caught out Livic, and there goes Maluno.
Sliding straight in for it, puts the damage down, realizes the rest of MYM are going to be there. Charu actually just off the side. He's going to catch down Mover. Mover will go down. The repel comes out, but this time the Ignite was enough from Kuban.
So well played there. They needed to use the ultimate of Charu, but it is on about a minute cooldown, so that did play into their favor. Hosan was poised, setting himself up to maybe jump onto Livic, but decides against it. And in all of this action, in all of these fights, to be honest, Yamato Cannon has not been involved in a team presence. He's just been split pushing with this Diana. He's already got that Hourglass completed, sitting on the Haunting Guys, and it's just at the moment Dragonborn saying, well, we got a Karthus. You've seen Karthus has been, you've seen Nash has been taken by Karthus a lot this weekend, and that's what we're going to make you think.
Shushay goes to get it. Quick Q comes out from Libic, trolls him there, makes sure it attacks him. Does a lot of damage to Shushay as well. Actually, you know, you talk about Yamada Cannon. That's actually the argument we've had against him in the LCS. The fact that he has been off on that Z, split pushing and not being involved in the team fights when he needs to, because, you know, Meet Your Makers, without discrediting them, they're not going to be on the level currently of the top LCS teams who can deal with these 4v4 fights. So
we'll see how well it pans out, because for the time being, the fact that Dragonborn's got such an early advantage in all of their lanes means that they're still winning these trades. But, like we said, a couple missteps, you give Kha'Zix a window, you give Kha'Zix a chance, and look at that!
There's a teleport coming in, but Kuban can't even fight this one. He's been taken down before he comes in. There's Charu with the home guard boost, teleporting into this fight. But Yamato Cannon's going to turn back around on him. He gets the stun down. Is it going to be enough? Now he's going to be the shed. Look at this. They have to stack 3 members on him to try and take down Yamato Cannon. That split push is working out so well for him. He's just uncontrollable.
His damage was just so good that he melted Kuban before Shen could even stand united him. Now the rest of Dragonborn, seeing the numbers in the bottom lane, seeing Stand United down, seeing Teleport down, they've started Baron, they've picked it up.
They've taken that down very quickly. Now, 27 minutes into this game, it is a 9,000 gold lead for the Dragonborns. 13 to 6 up in kills, and 3-0 in turret. The Dragonborns in full control. They finished 8th in the LCS. They were looking down and out. They had a few successes in the last Super Week, of course, and they were fully prepared for this matchup.
Where was this team during the last 10 weeks of the split? Where was this coordination and this control? The decision-making, everything right now is going in favor of Dragonborns. The 6 kills that they've given away is purely a victim of the circumstances of how many fights that they've picked. But at the end of the day, they've always won those trades, 1 for 2, 1 for 2, and they'll happily continue doing that until they make it to the Nexus.
The issue remains is when they actually go all in a little bit too much and it backfires against the team that can handle it when they do go all in. They know how to counter it, move out with that Oracle Will, spot out the wards. You see Dragon was picked up, and now the gold advantage continues to stretch. Just shy of 10,000 gold. It's Kuban all on his own, not being able to get anything going on Kha'Zix.
No, he just simply hasn't had a window of opportunity. He's been shut down by his opponent. The item build has not let him in. And right now, look at Dragonborns. They are just moving around this map like they own it. They are not afraid of MYM. They are not afraid of their opponents. Now, they're just going to man mode up and take this bottom inner turret.
Yeah, we can't do anything to stop that one. It's going to be Hosan Shushay leading the charge. They're coming in towards the first inner turret, or the inhibitor turret even. Sharu's going to try and clear out that wave, but they have to be so careful when he does lock himself down. You can see there's lay waste. The moment he leashes himself, that lay waste is on him.
Now we'll see quite how they decide to siege up, because this is now the true test. Whether or not Dragonborns, they've got the laning phase down, they've got the aggression down. Can they close it out? Can they siege? Will they just tower dive under the turret? It looks like this is it. Golden Aegis is up. Muno's going to tank a couple hits, and there's the ultimate from Charu.
There's the ultimate baited. Now the minions are coming in. The siege minion is there. They are going to be able to clear it out. The ultimate comes out from Hosan. Gets another bit of poke down. Maluna tanks it up for a while there, and they keep the poke down. So Crescendo is really the next target. That's what they want to try and draw out. Bullet time, of course, will follow it up, but they're quite happy to tank it. A couple of tank shots there for Maluno every single time. Shushay took a couple of too many, though. And that does mean that Dragonborns will back away. They're going to clear out that mid-wave.
Yeah, they're going to rely on that Baron buff to just regen their HP somewhat. So you see, look at the positioning. They're waiting to jump up. Oh, the cocoon missed. And you got to know, if that landed, they definitely would have dived in. The towers dropped down to about 2/3 life, but the amount of AoE splash from both Xerath and Kha'Zix is just melting these minion waves. So there's absolutely no time for, free damage on that tower.
I was going to say Dragonborns will back off, but they don't know the meaning of the word. They don't know. There's no back off in the vocabulary of Hosan. You either all in or all out.
You're just all in till you're all out. That's the story. You just keep fighting, keep fighting, keep fighting until there's nothing left to fight with. And look how much money they're all sitting on. So they've got this massive advantage already, but a lot of that is actually stored in their pockets. They haven't converted it to items in the game. Right now, Dragonborns have decided the mid-inner turret will be the next focus.
Well, we do see Hosan getting locked up there. One more hit. He does get taken down. Charu just assassinates him from range.
All in till you're all out, and Hosan is all out of luck. Got shut down there by Charu, and if Charu can keep doing that in every team fight, save his ultimates, and more importantly, land them all, then it's just going to shred through Hosan. Remember, that was through barrier as well.
That was through barrier. He just melted him down there. Has got the damage to do that. It's going to help him towards that Rabadon's death cap, which he is building right now. Charu, of course, Saving grace right now, 2-1-2. It has been Libic that's been focused in that top lane along with Makler, both of them with 4 deaths apiece, which is where most of the focus has been for the Dragonborns at the start.
Now, this is something that we've actually seen this weekend as well. As soon as a Sona gets locked in, that's pretty much, this is who we're going to camp, this is who we're going to kill, because it's such a squishy champion on base statistics. You really need to build items before you can survive. Dragonborns, with all this map control, are just going to steal themselves a blue buff. And you see Hosan, he's got some magic resist quite wisely, as well as in that Quicksilver Sash.
Pings coming out, and again, it's Meal Makers. They're all about the pings. They love them pings. They've been doing it the whole game.
Well, Smart Ping, it's a very awesome feature. It helps you communicate with your team.
They're not using Smart Ping.
Well, we heard a full back ping a little bit earlier in the matchup. Right now, your Mata Cannon just takes one of those Arcano Pulses and decides to back away.
It is a great feature, don't get me wrong, but they're not using it.
Well, I definitely heard a retreat ping.
Maybe now and again, yeah, we'll see. It is Meal Makers that are in trouble, though. They are 9,000 gold down to the Dragonborns. The LCS team that did finish 8th and looking to lock in their position where Against All Authority and Giants failed.
Well, we'll see whether or not they can. Copenhagen Wolves, the only LCS team to maintain their position, maintain their hold and their spot. And right now, the Dragonborns, the tempo has slowed. They've been able to, at least they haven't been able to sort of break this defensive line of MYM. They were able to defend that inhibitor turret, defend that inner mid turret crucially, thanks to Charu picking or Hosan. And the question is, can they do it again?
We'll see. The game definitely slowed a bit. The Baron will be up in 1.5 minutes, as will the Dragon. Kubon desperately trying to get some farm going on here. He's been chasing the game the whole time, been unable to be a presence on Kha'Zix, effectively making it 4v5 for a long period of this game. Yamato Cannon very much had his number from that one simple visit that Moluno paid to him down that bottom lane. He really should have had a ward in that river.
And something we talk about when we look, when we think about Kha'Zix, much like Katarina, one good team fight and all of a sudden you're back in it. One good team fight with a couple of resets. And especially when you consider all of the damage that Charu can put down to Karthus, to Draven, and to Elise. If you get Kubon jumping in there and leaping around, you can get a couple of kills, a couple of assists, and finish off that mana immune, which will probably get upgraded to a Mura mana fairly soon, and then really just have that damage spike that he can now, squash people as well.
Still only got the basic boots though, because he's not planning on leaving that base too far.
Well, when you're defending this much, you can sort of afford to, because if you're not, it's one of these things where if you're not moving over the river into the enemy's territory, you're less dependent on all that movement speed, and you don't necessarily need to upgrade, especially when you've got that leap upgraded and you have the ability to hop away to safety.
Wards getting placed out. The Oracle on Move Air will be clearing out everything around that red buff. Missed out one, actually. Oracle, though, on Libic. The rest of his team playing defensive duties. Bodyguard, essentially. And they do spot out the fact that Hosan was nearby. There's wards going out, trying to get the coverage towards that Baron, which will be spawning shortly, but that's not what Dragonborns are interested in. They're going straight for the top turret.
There's a teleport from Charu to the top inhibitor turret, so he's going to be trying to defend as quick as possible, but Dragonborns have found a way in, and that's a free turret.
Yeah, Wall of Pain came down. Shusha gets focused on, but the ultimate from Charu is not going to find its hole this time.
He was using it at absolute max range, and just like you said, he couldn't puncture through the armor, couldn't find that hole in Shusha's armor there to land the abilities all. Right now, MYM, they're stacked up. There is a ward in that bush, so Dragonborns have been spotted.
So Charu will clear out that top wave, and as soon as he shows himself, the fact that he's just used that teleport, he's not going to be around. He's already used that ultimate. It will be up pretty quickly, though. Dragonborns trying to bait out a fight here at the Baron.
So Diana's got for a bit of an interesting build. Pick up that Liandry's Torment as we see Libic being caught out again.
Well, Moluno's putting the damage down on him. There's going to be Hosan's ultimate. It's going to wear him down. Trying to bait out the crescendo, I felt there. Shusha, though, took a lot of damage in the process.
So Charu's about to get his Arcane Barrage back up. MYM feel that they can pick this fight with Shusha being low, but always remember the Requiem will come in. Plus, there's a Zhonya's Hourglass there. Charu's just Locust of power up and is still hitting particularly hard.
Yeah, and he's going to get stronger and stronger, but as is Shusha. Shusha's gone back, managed to buy up a couple of wards. Seraph's Embrace now completed as well. And he's going to come in there. So more wards being picked up by the Dragonborns. How Meteor Maker's going to be able to cover out as many, because the gold advantage is obviously giving Dragonborns that help. There's another chunk of gold for them to keep them wards supplied.
So that is another dragon going the way of the Dragonborns. They've had very good control and timing over that one, and they've just simply been able to outforce MYM since that very first dragon that they picked up. You're talking about the damage that Charu can put down. That can be avoided. It can be dodged with a well-timed flash, whereas the damage that Xushi is going to put out is guaranteed. The Requiem is always going to hit. We still don't see an Aegis of the Legion coming out from MYM against a double AP comp, and they're definitely going to need to pick that up soon.
See a quick silver slash from Hosan, but it is going to be Limik once again, caught by that wall. The pain gets taken low. The Cocoon comes out. There's going to be Xushi melted down there. Very quickly hit and run from Kuban. And there's going to be the Requiem. Is it going to be enough to take down Limik? No.
So it's a wasted Requiem from Xushi. I think he overestimated the damage that he could put down. So a good comeback kill from MYM, showing that they're not out of it just yet. Even though Limik was caught, he managed to land the crescendo, pick his team up a kill, or set his team up for a kill. And right now, we've just hit this stalling moment where teams get this massive advantage, and we've seen it all weekend long, that you really need to know how to push and how to use that advantage, make it work for you, and close the game out.
With this stalling, who's it going to favor? Is it going to be Meteor Makers that are going to get close to this game? The longer the game goes on, we've seen it so many times, the more gold they get across the board, the 6-item build starts to be completed regardless of that gap.
So the thing that's going to be very, very important about these fights is whether or not Meteor Makers land a good Stand United and a good crescendo, because Shen and Sona are not damage threats. Shen and Sona are there for utility. They're there to save the damage threats and to set their threats up for kills. On the other side, Dragonborns, that's 5 champions that can clean house. 5 champions with good damage, good numbers that can kill people. So it's 5v3 as far as damage dealers are concerned. And the later it goes, the better both teams become. But the more imperative it is for MYM to actually land all of their respective abilities.
Kuban's still chasing his dream to get that Kha'Zix built up. The Bloodthirster and Last Whisper in there, but Maramana still working on that one. Charu just lingering off the side there, has got, of course, those wards which he's waiting for. He's waiting to see if he can get a pick around that Baron.
Now, he's going to have more than enough range to maybe even stun people up, and the damage is really, really good. So if he can get some poke down, he might even try to steal this. Kuban's going to throw out those Void Spikes, and the steal's not going to come in. Dragonborns pick up the second Baron, and to be honest, MYM did nothing there. They threw out a couple of skill shots, but they were all grouped, and they just weren't confident enough to pick a fight, even 4 versus 5, with Yamato Cannon down in the bottom lane.
Now they're going to have 4 minutes up against Dragonborns with that Baron buff, and almost certainly that middle lane looks like it's going to be the focus. They could go towards the top lane. That's where they started poking it first time round. It would make sense to start putting damage on towards that top, bottom inner turret.
So something that I would have liked to have seen in there in the Baron pit was, you know, if Kuban had decided to jump in with that Kha'Zix and then have Shen stand united on top of him while Charu was using his ultimate. I think that could have been a good fight for them, but of course, I think 12,000 gold behind means that they weren't exactly confident on that ability. So some good vision, and Muvo takes 1 single Arcana Pulse, and that drops off about 1/3 of his HP. So he is still hitting very, very hard. There's a lot of pressure on Charu to land these damages. Use the ulti!
Maluna gets caught, the ulti goes down, it shreds about half his health though, but not going to be enough. Charu, he knows it's on a quick cooldown. It will be up very soon with that blue buff on.
Yeah, so it is going to be available shortly, probably by the time this next wave actually reaches the minion turret. See, he's just going to spam out those max range Qs and try to keep the Dragonborns at bay. And for the time being, all of that splash damage is actually holding them back. So all credit to MYM for holding off this massive onslaught of damage from the Dragonborns.
Well, Hosan's hitting for close to 1,000 when he crits now. He's definitely causing problems. He went for that scimitar. It's not an item we go see a lot of, but obviously he wants to use that QSS part of it, basically to get away from that damage that Zerath is putting out. Look at Xushi getting melted down there. Just 3 ultimate hits from Charu. Just shreds his health, and that's going to be Meteor Makers forcing Dragonborns away.
So very well played. Charu got 2 uses of that Arcane Barrage up on 1 wave, and then I think on the 4th wave of minions that made it to the base. And again, MYM hold. That is the most important thing. It's like they're taking part in Troy right now, just trying to defend the base and hoping that a Trojan horse doesn't manage to slip in and sneak in. And if you look at the body language from MYM, they're actually smiling and grinning a little bit. So they don't look too phased by this prolonged siege.
Well, they realise, obviously, that they were set so far back in that early phase, and the fact that they've held on for 40 minutes surely is a good time. They're thinking, Dragonborn's had such a huge advantage, and yet they still can't capitalize on it.
Yeah, it's one of those things that it's because of the fact that Draven has a relatively short-range auto attack, and if you look at his build, yes, he's got some magic resist in the form of that Mercurial Scimitar. It's not exactly going to save him if everybody just all ends on him. So, you know, playing it fairly defensive, some good damage coming down from Yamato Cannon. He's got a very interesting Diana build, a little bit different from what we're used to seeing. We do tend to see that Nash's Tooth coming up. This time, there's another ultimate onto Shushay.
Shushay taken down to half health once again. Keeps getting poked out there. Keeps getting focused. Kuban thought about diving in towards him. Shushay is going to get focused on, and you can see the poke coming in towards. Not going to land again, though.
No, not this time round. Charu's ultimate is on cooldown, 1/3 of it remaining, and he's going to need it up if he wants to jump onto people. Right now, Spinning Axes wound up, and the siege just carries on. Dragonborns, they're not willing to tower dive. They don't want to throw the lead that they have away, but they don't really know how to take the towers down just because that great defensive power from Xerath is really paying dividends. This is, I think, probably the decision of why they picked Xerath into this comp. They knew that they could defend, they could hold off, much like in Anivia in that way.
Stall it out, yeah. Which seems to be working out very well for them. They are 13,000 gold behind. Let's not beat around the bush here. They are a long way back. The Baron buff, though, has essentially been fairly useless for Dragonborns.
Yeah, but the main thing about that as well, the gold plays into their favor, and it's actually allowed them to keep that siege up. You know, just even with the damage Shushay was taking, the rest of the team were able to effectively hold MYM in place. And the 10,000 gold lead that we've seen is now a 14,000 gold lead because of the fact that Baron allowed them to hold MYM in their base, prevent them taking their jungle creeps, prevent them really farming up every single wave. So Dragonborns are doing well of starving them of, you know, resources, but the longer they take to close this game out, the less of an impact this very big lead will actually be.
And if you look at Makler, you can see the Bloodthirster, the Black Cleaver, the Last Whisper, and now looks like the Phantom Dancer may be getting in there. Oh, it's going to be Libic. He's going to get caught out here. He's going to have to use the Crescendo if he wants to get away. Does use it, and that is going to be death nevertheless, and it's going to be Shushay that picks it up.
Libic is not going to be very happy right now. He's been caught out a number of times this matchup, but Shushay's dead!
Shushay's dead. He gets absolutely melted by Charu. Puts the wall of pain down. Hasn't going to go for the Requiem. Doesn't bother wasting it this time around because he would not have picked up anything. So that instantly resets it, stops everyone in their track.
Yeah, 2 uses of that Arcane Barrage plus the Mage Change was enough to just melt Shushay. He still has no defensive items, and even more impressive, because the stun landed from Charu, the Zhonya's Hourglass could not be used. So he was locked up, he couldn't use the item, and he just popped.
Well, the longer we wait here, Kupon's just slowly but surely getting back into the game. He was completely removed from it. He's effectively been 4v5, and he's just getting more and more CS. He's going to be pulling items, but we just see a Rabadon's Death Cap coming out from Yamato Cannon.
So this is something that's definitely going to be working into the favor of MYM because of the fact that you've got this, you know, very glass cannon build from Shushay, Hosan, and Movet. It's a little bit of HP in there, but not all that much. If you can kill the 3 of them relatively quickly, and this is going to be the onus on MYM, they need to kill all 3 of them quickly, then they can focus down Diana, and that's going to be the crux of winning a team fight and, dare I say it, winning this game. Right now, Hosan has got that red buff on, he's got a red pop waiting, and it looks like he wants to pick a fight with Mokate.
Mokate's like throws one bauble blade at us like, nope! This is too deep. This is too deep. Yep. So, like, questioning himself, either that or his team went, what are you doing down there?
Don't pull a Libic. Don't get caught out just trying to ward or going too far. And he decides to back away. And you just have to credit Hosan. He's caught every single Spinning X, except for the 1, 2 that are just, as I say it. But up until this point, he's been phenomenal on the micromanagement of his champion.
He can click around like the best of them. I can't do that. I throw the action. It's just like, actually, to be fair, I generally do have him in ARAMs, and then you bait yourself into it because you see that big marker and everybody else sees it and just runs straight to it.
I use reroll when I get Draven. It's too much. It's too much effort. I focus more on my axes than I do on the enemy. Right now, though, that gold lead is still 15,000, and Dragonborn's siege will continue. And again, Arcane Barrage goes down. Some good damage, and Hosan is dropped low, even with that MR.
And Mover, both of them taken low. They're going to see if they can still get in there. And again, the Arcane Pulse. Charu is desperately trying to snipe out. They see Yamato Cannon in the side there. His shield being enough to keep Makler off him, though. And, well, Dragonborns once again are forced away from this one. Meal Makers are putting up a sterling effort in the defense.
Charu definitely deserves a cookie after this game because he's single-handedly fended off a million waves, a million attacks that have come down from the Dragonborns. It's like watching Starship Troopers, the bugs just running at you over and over and over and over. And this time around, It's just that range and that damage that Charu's putting out that's really playing into their favor.
Going close to that one. The Oracle, the fact that Libic has picked that up now, it's going to help him out. Libic's not been able to get any GP10 items. It's a problem for him, but then again, Mover on the same vein hasn't either. In fact, he went for damage early on because it was working out so well for him. Still 2-1-5.
Yeah, so it's not the end of the world, especially on the least with those base percentages. You just rely then on that magic penetration to allow your base numbers to do even more work for you. The thing is, Mover has been able to get in range of doing anything to anyone because of that Arcano Pulse from Charu. He's really timing his Locus of Power well. And we're getting to the point now where almost every champion in the game is almost level 18. Makata will be there in a second. The third Baron of the game has started, and MYM may decide to actually try pick a fight here.
Yeah, Yamato Cannon was trying to get pulled away. This time we do see Makla going in. The Cocoon lands on towards Makata, and they're letting the Baron do the damage on towards them. That means they're going to have to try and Shadow Dash away from that one. Makata is, Kubon's still in there. He can just stealth up, actually. No, the Baron can still see you, son. You need to jump away. There we go. Waits for the cooldown. And he does back away. No deaths there. And the advantage, honestly, not really with either team right now. Yamato Cannon was trying to draw them all to that bottom lane. And, well, we see the Dragon Balls going in. There is going to be that ward back in there once again. They start on the Baron. Smite is available for Makata if they require it. If he goes and gets a steal, look at that ultimate, though. That is melting them down. Mover taken very low. They have to back away from this Baron.
So very well played, MYM. They were forced to use their ultimates. They burned that Stand United early, and just very wisely from Dragonborns, they actually backed away and waited for both Kha'Zix and Shen to just leave the pit. They tried to re-engage, and Charu just decimated them with that arcane barrage. It truly is like an artillery barrage coming down, made up of magic damage and just shredded through absolutely everybody. So, for the first time in a while, MYM looking like they're actually able to compete with the Dragonborns out in the open without a turret between them.
And this is something we've talked about. The fact that the delays are that little bit longer is giving Meteor Makers a chance to get back in the game. The gold advantage, while being huge, is actually starting to dwindle away. The percentage per advantage they have over them that they had compared to the very early game when they were miles ahead. They were 10-2 up in kills at one point. They're still at 14-9. They've not picked up many. Oh, man. Makata just flashes out of that one. Flash was used. He could have Shadow Dash maybe away from that one, but Maluno does use his ultimate as well. So they are going to, again, once try and force that fight. And look at Libic. Again, very close. He knows that he's going to get caught out, and he's going to get a hit on there. Maluno may well slide through for this one. Just uses that Dragon Strike.
So that was one critical hit that hit Libic for 844 damage. Now we see the pink wards have gone down. They're going to clear out some of the vision, and it is a pink ward battle. A very good wall of pain. Libic's again taking deep damage. If he does decide to flash Crescendo, that might be the signal for an engagement. Dragonborn's off to the left-hand side of the screen, and it's just a matter of the Baron dance happening now. MYM are still very far behind as far as gold is concerned.
How many times this weekend have we seen this Baron dance backfire on the team that's tried to force it, that's been in the lead? What are Dragonborns doing? The thing is, they've realized that they can't actually siege it down. They've tried to push and pressure on towards that turret. That's not worked for them. They're having problems right now. We do see Libic getting caught out once again. It's Yamato Cannons playing the defensive quarterback right at the front there. It's not a defensive quarterback, is it? It's a linebacker or something like that. I don't know. Who cares?
The
It's
defensive
American
role.
football.
Take a look at Makata. He's about to get caught out. The cocoon went completely wide. And MYM, the one thing that Dragonborns have done successfully is they've actually drawn MYM out of their base. So pulled him out into open territory. And to be honest, whoever jumps in first may actually be able to win this matchup because both sides have got great damage. Even how fed and farmed Yamato Cannon is, Charu's melting his HP.
His hit points definitely went down a fair chunk there, and again, looks like Dragonborns have been forced away from this one, so that long range of Charu is definitely causing so many serious issues. You can see Maluno, he wants to get in and get that ward at the back there. Mover's with him. They may well try and catch him out here. Shuje's going to clear that top wave out. He's going to save up that turret as well. Look how quick that defile does it. They did take the turret down, though. This is keeping advantages going towards Meteor Makers. The longer this game goes on, it's still 15,000 between the two teams. Mover really wants to get on there. We see Hosan down the bottom. He really wants to get that ward taken out of the back of the Dragon Pit. He may get baited into it. Charu is still nearby.
So we'll see whether or not Charu can land a good combination or not. He's just hanging around, but he stood right on top of a Dragonborn's ward, so Mover is completely aware of his positioning. Another needlessly large rod has been picked up for Yamato Cannon's Diana. And we'll see if that works its way towards that Deathfire Grasp. And he's just gone straight for a full ability power build. And it's just an all-in damage from Yamato Cannon. He's hoping to assassinate anybody that he jumps onto.
Yeah, that dragon's going to go down. That's going to give them another chunk of God. I don't believe Meteor Makers have taken a single dragon. They may have taken the first one. That's
the very first dragon. From then on out, it's been all about the Dragonborns, waiting for the dragon to be born, and then returning from whence it came.
And sending it back whence it came. We see another needlessly large drop being picked up by Yamato Cannon. This time it is going to be the Deathfire Grasp. He's going to have a lot of ability power.
Yeah, he's going to have a massive amount of ability
Cannon,
power.
He must be incredibly high. In fact, he's going to be above Shushei's.
Yeah, for sure. In terms of itemization, he's a full item ahead. He's also got additional HP thanks to that Riley's Crystal Scepter. The Rod of Ages will be doing some work there for Shushei, of course, but we're going to need to just see how these fights break out, because both teams have just got so much burst potential. It literally comes down to whoever jumps on whoever first. That's what it comes down to now. At this point in the game, at 51 minutes on the clock with 63,000 to 80,000, you're just going to insta-give whoever you catch. And Sona, Misfortune, Zerath are all squishy. They're all glass cannons for the most part, as is Karthus, Draven, and Elise.
We're seeing a similar thing here, that the Dragonborns, you know, they can't close out the game. They had such an enormous advantage. We saw Giants have this problem before. Can they do, MYM, what Alternate proved? The fact that Giants couldn't close out that match. It took them so many problems. They have it in them. They have the damage in them. He just need a couple of resets really set for Kubon. He's got the fact that he's got that Muramana built now. He's starting to get more and more money, more and more gold. And you can see actually we've got nearly 5 members of 2 different teams. Dragonborns with 3. Oh, that's going to be Charu actually catching out Hosan. He's going to put the ultimate down, and Hosan's hit points just melted down. He has got the Guardian Angel this time around, though. There's going to be Arcania Pulse. Oh, it's him. Kubon jumping in. He may have to flash away from this one. He's going to get caught out, taken very low. Yamato kind of dives in. Hosan gets an ultimate across, but that, and more importantly, will trigger off the Baron fight.
Kubon was hoping for the Stand Unite to come in, and actually it's coming in on Libic. They might flash crescendo this. Makata is going to need to wait. He's tried to get in. Doesn't get the steal.
Doesn't get the steal. He's going to get away from this one, but you can see Shushei comes across. Shushei may get locked down here. One more hit comes out. He's going to get the Zoni's Hourglass. Yamato kind of picking up the kill. That's going to be Makla going down. Here comes Shushei's ultimate. Requiem comes down. Takes them all very low. Maluna's going to be able to slide, and Cataclysm, he hasn't used it yet. There it is. Catches all 3 of them. Absolutely magnificent. Dragonborn's finally putting the pressure down on these turrets. Again, the ultimate Charu just using the last little tick of it there. And then Hosan, we look at all the health he's regen back in there. Mover picks up the final kill, and Hosan just sidestepping out of that ultimate. He's going to get away.
He's going to be able to run away. The lifesteal, the survivability, the real life that he'll get from Guardian Angel. MYM tried to make a play, and it did not work. Kubon dove into that pit. He'd waited on the flash. He needed to get out of there quicker. Stand United simply was not in there at the right time. MYM, unfortunately, losing another Baron and another tower, but Dragonborns didn't decide to push. Dragonborns decided to back away, and they didn't take the inhibitor down, so the siege will continue.
Yamato Cannon, I believe, has a 10,000 gold lead over Kubon. No, it's a 7,000.
Oh, is that all?
Is that all?
Is that
7,000 gold lead over your lane.
Wow.
opponent.
Look at Elise now. Muverti Elise. That's a 4,500 gold lead just in supports alone. That is a massive, massive advantage.
He's got more gold than the jungler of Makata.
That's scary. That is absolutely scary. Makata has not had a presence in this game at all. Out of his team's 9 kills, he's only been involved in 2 of them. And the Stand United have not been as impactful as you would need them to be.
There's a big gold lead, no doubt about it, across the board. And in terms of items, it's clearly telling. We saw in that last fight, 6 item builds coming out from a number of players here. Yamato Cannon, you can see 901 ability power on Shushei right now. Now Requiem, certainly going to do damage. He's got that 6 item build complete and really is a monster. Yamato Cannon, look at that, 722 ability power. So it is Shushei by far with more now, the fact that he has completed off all of his items. 17-9, the Dragonborns, you feel with that Baron on, the fact they did just win that fight, they feel they can brute force the way in here. The inhibitor is exposed. Charu not going to be able to stop it off this time, and they are going to keep the pressure down. There he goes, no problem.
So very well done. That MYM just realizing they cannot fight. Not only could they not fight the team before, now they've got the Baron, the stats, the regen, and they needed to back away. So Dragonborns have repositioned. They're now in this middle lane. They finally get the mid inner turret down after what feels like an eternity of sieging. And now they're going to move around towards that top lane, counter push the minions, and then probably try to siege down yet another inhibitor turret.
So they have a 22,000 gold lead now. they could just literally walk through and finish the game. Hosan with those spinning axes. He is going to be hitting for pretty big numbers. We've seen a couple of 1300s in there as he wipes out that wave without problems. He's got double spinning axes going as well now. He's just keeping them all juggling.
That was beautiful. That was a particularly beautiful section of play. Just absolute perfect. And, you know, he's just micromanaging. He's one-hitting all the minions. And, of course, right-clicking. Wherever he right-clicks, that's where the axe will land. He just picks it up as he runs along. Right now, with the minion wave pushing up and with this immense, immense item advantage and lead they have, Hosan eats an Arcana Pulse, and for the first time in a long time, doesn't lose half his HP with just a single spell. The second and third, though, will.
Oh, he gets locked up almost there. The stun wasn't coming in, of course. He had to get closer for that one. Doesn't manage to finish off Hosan. Didn't want that Guardian Angel pops. He just goes off. Manages to get the lifesteal back off the golems. And look at that. He's up to full health almost.
Plus 100 HP per auto attack right now. So he's doing very, very well on that particular champion. That Bloodthirster just doing work on that 2,200 HP that he's got. Now they start to siege up. Inhibitor turret is being hit down. Arcane Barrage is not available for Charu. It will be up in the next 15 or 20 seconds.
That wave's going to get wiped out once again. The spinning axes will begin. And he'll take those down, no problems. And the siege minion goes down in 2 hits. That's Hosan right there, the AD carry. Has got a lot of damage. He's also got the defensive items, don't forget. He's got it built just right.
It's a good mixture of both damage and survivability, but this time he's been caught. He still doesn't
go down. 24 hit points he walks away with.
I cannot believe that.
And now he's just going to go in lifesteal again. He's just going to get it all back. So no problems. Finds himself the wraiths, and look at his hit points just going back in there. Yep, got this covered. Don't worry, guys. I've got my health back.
Unbelievable that on 2 separate occasions, Charu tries to land everything, pretty much does, and he gets away with a sliver of life. That magic resist in the Guardian Angel and that magic resist from the Mercurial Scimitar is paying dividends right now, keeping him alive and managing to just keep him back up. He just goes and farms his HP back up.
Super minions keep on going in that bottom lane. Makler is clearing them off every time. We do see Dragonborns once again. Hosan getting the damage down on towards that. Axe is spinning away, hitting on the turret. He does manage to get a couple of lifesteal back again. And this time Charu goes for Maluna. He's a much tankier target with that Runic Bulwark on. Not really going to do as much damage. That means Dragonborns can get another second bite of the cherry. They're going to get on towards this turret. They will take down the second inhibitor turret. Now they can turn in towards the rest of Meet Your Makers. You see the ultimate coming out there. Hosan just throwing out that axe. He does get caught once again by Charu on the back. That's not going to take him down. Every single chance.
Doing the best that he can, and you know, targets are just trained on Hosan, and what that just means is the rest of Dragonborns have had free reign the entire time under these turrets. They've been able to try and get some damage down, try and line up some abilities, but truth be told, they haven't landed any knockups, they haven't landed any cocoons, and that's the reason that they just managed to get the tower down and not the inhibitor. You
know, Charu's at 4-1-2. Well, you know, there's only so much he can do to keep Meet Your Makers in this game.
To be fair, he has 500 minions. Which is a very, very high amount. I believe when he hits 496, I think that's the highest farm out of any LCS match in EU to date.
It may well be.
I think 496 was the previous record, 495, 496, but I'll have to double check
Well,
that.
we'll see whether Yamada kind of beats him there. There you go.
497. 500 creeps at 58 minutes on the clock. 502 Yamato Cannon. If there was anybody questioning his play in this matchup, I believe they have been silenced, because what an impeccable performance from the newest top laner for the Dragonborns.
The newest top laner for the LCS as well, or not now. We've got some new teams in there. Dragonborns, though, they had such a huge advantage. Just around about 8 minutes into this game, they were 8-2 up, I think it was. It's taken a long time to get to this stage, and it's definitely a long match ink, I think. Best of 5 here. I don't think this is going to be anything easy for either of these teams. Inhibitor is exposed, and look just how careful Dragonborns are. They know how quick they can get focused down, how quick they can get locked up by Charu. And Kubon, if he gets a moment to actually jump in, maybe get some resets in gain, he can't get close enough, and he gets absolutely beaten away from it. They're going to go aggressive. It's Hosan that tries to target in towards Crescendo, comes across, but Limik is already very low. Yamato Cannon uses the Sonya's Hourglass there. Bullet time comes across. comes straight out of it. It is going to be Sharu finally picking up a kill. Makata does go down. Maluna's going to get focused. He does get away with it, though. And now you can see the Arcane Impulse is still coming out. Sharu wants to get on towards, so you out of cannon. Not going to happen. Hosan comes back in. Can he get the spinning axes down? Yes, he can. He takes down Charu. And it's going to be Hosan's Guardian Angel's pop. Makler going to get the damage down. Hosan will respawn. He's going to get locked up. Meet Your Makers get a 2 for 2 there. They do hold on. The inhibitor goes down, but they are surely going to just about survive and keep this inhibitor alive in the bottom.
Just great counter engage from MYM. In and out, in and out. They manage to survive, come back into that, and they trade 2 for 2 against a team that has a 25,000 gold lead. That is a very, very good trade. Guardian Angels down across the board there for teams, and you actually see that it's been sold there for Hosan. He's decided to get rid of that one. Right now, it's just a really good setup for both of these teams, and it's just a matter of whether or not MYM can survive that next fight, because they held off the top inhibitor. The bottom inhibitor is alive, and there's no more super minions there. So now all of a sudden they've just traded bottom lane's super minions.
Yeah, Yamano Cannon just sold his Guardian Angels as well, switched it for an Abyssal Scepter. And now it looks like it's going to be the Baron being picked up by the Dragonborns to take another attempt at Meet Your Makers turrets.
So I believe this will be the 4th Baron that the Dragonborns will be picking up if they go for this one. And we've lost count. That's how many there have been. And it will, of course, be at 61 minutes on the clock. Dragonborns looking to try and close this game out, but they're playing so cautiously, so tentatively when trying to push against MYM. They're just not 100% sure how to close this one out, and they will grab the Baron buff.
It's still not a clear advantage that they have. They have that Baron. You'd think now they would take this one. But if Sharu, again, manages to lock someone up, bearing in mind there's no Guardian Angels now. Hosan we saw get down to 24 hit points this time around. Sharu can surely pop him.
And Makla in that engagement, you cannot discount the power of that bullet time. It hit every single member of Dragonborns and got, I think, the majority of that channel. I don't think it was interrupted. And with his item build with Infinity Edge Black Cleaver Bloodthirster, he melted through everybody. So it was a very, very important item. Now, the rest of Dragonborns, they've grouped up. They want the second inhibitor. Dragonborns, MYM were waiting on the side, and to be honest, they shot too early.
Sharu shot his low too early. He's putting the ultimate down. He actually called on towards Shushay. Maluna goes in. Crescendo comes across. There's going to be the Requiem. He's actually dead right now. But you're going to see Kubo's going to get stripped alive down the bottom there. Sharu is trying to get away from this one. He's been taken down. Dragonborns are going to get this game now. They have taken down the main man. Makler is still alive, but finally it's going to be the Dragonborns. They clear out the bottom inhibitor. They rotate around. They're going to take every single turret. Make sure they do this properly. About the book, tutorial style. It is going to be the second, third inhibitor finally dropping down. The Nexus turrets are now exposed, and Libic, look at that, one single turret, one single axe, and there is going to be Moubert finishing off. Makler's going to try and get on towards Shushay. He does take him down, and it's going to be Makata getting melted on the Nexus turrets. Will finally get dropped. There is the ace for the Dragonborns. And would you believe it, Hosan does go down towards the end. Now, Yamato Cannon and Moubert will finish off the game. And look at that, 105,000 gold, 63 minutes into this game. Dragonborns finally conclude the game despite being 8-2 up 8 minutes in. It took them a long time, but they are 1-0 up in this best-of-5 series against Meet Your Makers.
What a strong start, and that's really what you got to touch on and remember. Whether or not they can repeat that performance is what is going to determine who is the victor in this matchup. MYM chatting amongst themselves, trying to figure out what went wrong and how they can, what they can do to improve in the next game.
Well, it took them a long time to do it, but Dragonborns took the lead. To take us through that game, we're going to go over to Joe Miller and Jason Kaplan. And really, it was a very long match.
Very long match indeed there. 63 minutes and 5 seconds on the clock. And, it was the game at the start of the game, at least, was exactly what we'd been expecting, what we wanted. Myself and Demon, we casted a million Meet Your Makers games earlier on before League of Legends got to the size that it is now, and they were always such an aggressive team. Dragonborns were always an aggressive team, and one-on-one in this case did in fact make 2, which is always a good thing to see. We did have that aggressive game that we were all wanting to see, and it came out of Dragonborns. They were all over the place. Maluno in particular in that early game was incredible.
Yeah, during the picks and bans, we were confused. Why was Draven let through? It caused them so many problems. I'm just being so blunt with it, but it's like the fact you wouldn't let Jim Bones play AD Cannon. You're not supposed to let Hosan play Draven at all. He got that champion. He punished them in the top lane over and over with the help of Maluno getting double. Well, he didn't get double kills, but kill after kill after kill. The top lane was always a threat throughout the entire game, and it really amazed me that happened. But then again, look at Charu. You have to give him credit. The key to Mitri Makers holding on that long was him alone, because he could one-shot Hosan in the back line if he needed to. He could push the lanes out really quickly. And if he didn't play Xerath, that game would have been completely different.
Yeah, but in the end, it doesn't matter that they held on for 63 minutes or whether that would be 163 minutes. It matters who wins the game in the end. And, of course, it was the Dragonborns for that one. We don't have any replays to show you because, quite frankly, most of the action towards the, well, I say towards the end, for probably 35 minutes of that one was literally MYM Makers holding on to their base and Dragonborns trying desperately to power on through it, which, they didn't manage time and time again. But a Baron in the end obviously gave them that extra little bit of a spike and the initiation that came out eventually for them to close out the game.
And the thing was, if Dragonborns was able to get an inhibitor earlier on, like well, at least open it up earlier on, then they could have won the game, 30 minutes ago. The problem was that they didn't get that, and Mitri Makers got strong enough, particularly Charu, to just defend. And that allowed them, as I said before, just to drag the game on. And Joe, we've seen Mokata play a couple different junglers. We've seen him, Deer, he's really well known for. I wasn't that impressed with his jungle Shen.
No, not at all. And that's the funny thing, because we know Mokata as a very, very good jungler. Right. He is up there with the best. He has a very similar play style, I'd say, to the likes of Diamond Prox. Also a fairly similar champion pool in the jungle as well. I think having a Shen in your team is something that every team usually wants to have in there. It's Shen at the end of the day, but it just didn't work out for them in that jungle.
It seemed almost too forced in. It's like, oh, Shen's open, we should just take
it.
It was like the whole thing when Dragonborns played against EG earlier in the season of LCS, like Jace was open, they didn't want to have it, so they picked Jace, and they're like, who's going to play him?
Yeah, I mean, Shen in the jungle can do well.
Can work. Yeah, we've seen it.
Top lane Shen is going to get to that point that Shen needs to be a lot faster than the jungle Shen, and things just didn't get going early on, I think, for Mokata, and that was part of his problem for that one. But Jason, we're going to be moving into a quick break here. Of course, game number 2 will be coming up here very, very shortly. I actually have to leave right now, sadly enough, here for this final game. So just want to say thank you very much, guys, for supporting the LCS. Keep supporting your teams through the next bit. But, of course, the entire crew will be back here for game number 2.